What's going on, filmmakers? I'm Alexander Don, and today we're gonna do something pretty special. By now you probably watched the new show on Netflix Wednesday and you realize that show is really cool. I honestly watched it in just a few days, and you probably watched it in just one day because it was that cool. Because the show was shot entirely in Romania, that makes me very proud, and today I want to reproduce a scene from the show. So let's begin. This is the scene that we're going to try to reproduce, and as you can see, it's a very beautiful scene. It has a lot of things going on inside the room and also a lot of things going on in terms of lighting. It's a quite complicated shot, and hopefully we're going to make it work. My camera of choice for this thing is going to be the Sony FX6 paired with Dizio Vespet primes, and my monitor of choice is going to be the Atama Shogun Connect, which is a really cool thing to have on set because while we are filming, you can make proxies with these things, and the proxies get uploaded on the cloud, and if you have an editor back home, he can start editing right away. So basically, while you are filming, somebody can edit the footage that you just filmed in seconds. That's pretty mind-blowing. I cannot wait to test this on a big production level, but for now, I'm just gonna use it as my monitor. I'm not gonna send the files back home or anything like that. Next step is to build our set, so let's begin.
Speak your truth, you already know. Search your mind, it's written in gold. Don't say no, let it unfold out, and we'll take the embrace.
Alright, so this is our set. I know it looks like a mess, but you're watching from the behind the set. And when you look at the camera, things will make sense. Now, what I did in order to make this look similar to our scene was quite tricky. And so let me show you our process to light the entire scene. Because we are shooting in a very small location, I couldn't use my big softbox with Forza 500 because this would mean that I'm gonna have a lot of spill around the room, and we have a lot of white walls here, so it's quite hard to not have a lot of bounce into our subject. And that's why I used my MixPanel 150 with the softbox and the grid. And the grid helps me focus my light where I want without having a lot of spill in the sides. I can do the same with this softbox as well, but I don't have a grid for it, so I'm gonna have to buy one. But this light is perfect for lighting small indoors, and you have a lot of controls over it, like hue, saturation, and also tint and white balance. So I really love using this one, especially when I'm in very tight locations. This was my key light. It was quite hard to get the same quality of light that you see on her face. I don't know how they pulled it off. I think they had like a massive softbox. In our case, that wasn't possible, so that's why I had to use this one. Now, when it comes to the backlight, I had a lot of issues there because I couldn't replicate that backlight exactly as you saw in the scene. As you look in the scene, she has a really small peak of light on her cheek, which was really hard to obtain. We couldn't do it. I don't know how they did it, but I think we got pretty close with the neck backlight and a little bit on the shoulder as well. So maybe they used something like a projector or probably I don't know how to explain what they used, but in our case, we used our Nanlite FS60B, which is a really good light. I really love using this in the studio. They have a lot of control. They are bi-color. You can use them with different kind of white balances, and for this situation, it was really nice to use. Now we're gonna go more in depth on the table. We have a practical light over here, which was kind of tricky to control, but in order to make it work, we had to pull a little bit of paper and wrap around the lights so it doesn't have so much power, because this light isn't dimmable and we cannot put a paddle bulb inside here because the place is too small. We had to improvise a little bit, but I think we made it work quite nice. Another thing that was quite hard to do with this was the fact that we had a lot of spill on our actress face, so we had to be careful with it where we put it, because this machine had a lot of spill on her face as well. So it's kind of tricky to work in a situation where you are pulling all the lights really down, because everything that you do, you're gonna have spill all around the place. So it was quite tricky. Now for the hand, when the hand gets in the shot, I wanted to have a little bit of this replicated, sorry, I want to have a little bit of this replicated on the hand, so it seems that this is lighting the hand. So I used an Nanlite Forza 60B, and it's around like, I don't know, 3%, just to have a little bit of light coming onto the hand so it looks more real. Now for this part, this is everything. I also used a flag here so I don't have spill from the wall behind. This flag helped me quite a lot because I managed to keep that contrast very low and make it look, very high. I had a high contrast. So I managed to keep the shadows low, that's what I want to say. And for the thing that looks like a window, we obviously don't have a window, so we had to replicate it using the Nanlite projector, which is right over here. And this bad boy has a lot of filters like this. As you can see, I have a filter right here, which is really cool. I think I found a perfect filter for this. And in order to make different kind of colors on the wall, I used the Nanlite Forza 60C, which is a full color light, and I can switch between different kind of colors. And that's why I had static shots, and I had blue and yellow and red all around, and I mixed them inside my program, which I'm going to show you in a bit because it's quite interesting. And therefore, this is it pretty much. We also had a little bit of black cloth on the table in order to not have so much reflection from the table to our actress face. If you look closely in the scene, there is a cello, the one that Wednesday sings at. We didn't have a cello, but I found a violin, so I put it in the shot so we can have something similar. So as you look in the scene, the cello is lit from behind, and we did the same thing. We also had a black cloth here so we cannot see it in the shot, and I think we got a pretty nice result with this one. To light this, we used a Nanlite PowerTube 6C, which is a very powerful small light. I like using this in situation like this where you can put it behind stuff or light even subjects. Like, it's really powerful. So in this case, worked really good. It gave us what we needed, and it looked kind of cool in the shot as well. So overall, I think this was really tricky and quite challenging, to be honest. It didn't turn out exactly the way I wanted, to be honest. I wanted to make it even more perfect and make it more similar to the scene. And now we're gonna go into our editing software to show you how I did a few of my tricks. In order to get my image as close as possible to the shot you seen from Wednesday, I want to show you a few things that I did because I think it was quite interesting. So this is the shot that I had as a reference, and as you can see, it's amazing, it's beautiful, it has a lot of contrast, but in the same time it has a lot of information in the shadows and highlights and all that things, which is one thing that is very impressive because usually you don't find an image this balanced. So this show in terms of image quality is absolutely insane. Now, in order to reproduce this look, I had to do a lot of things in post-production as well. So this is our shot, and as you can see, it looks pretty similar to this one. Obviously, the contrast level and everything is not the same because we didn't have textures in the background and we didn't have an actual room to film this, where in an actual room light goes in different ways. But I tried my best to recreate it as much as I can in terms of like how it looks and the feel it has. So hopefully I managed to do this pretty good. But just to give you an idea on how the image was looking before, this is our before grading image, which looks kind of tricky and doesn't look that good. Now let me break down my grading and everything that I did in order to get it. So as you can see here on the back, I have this window which I tried to reproduce, and in order to get this black thing on my wall, I had to do a plate where my plate had only this in the back. So this is how my plate was looking. So when the hand comes into the shot, I managed to remove the hand and keep the background. So that's why I had this plate going on. And I think this is a similar procedure that they did in the show as well. Another thing that I realized with this is that they have a bigger depth of field. So they're not using, like I did, T2.1, they might be using T4 or something like that, because there's a lot of things in focus. The hand is almost in focus. Everything about her is in focus. The lamp is in focus. When we look at our shot, not so many things are in focus except her face and a little bit of her hand. But when our hand comes into place, our hand is not in focus. So this is the node, the first node, and these are nodes that I did before the first node. And this is a power window only on her face. And as you can see, it looks like this. And I made a power window on her face to make the saturation a little bit lower, because as you can see, she is more pale here and it looks different. Obviously, I think her face and her paleness in the skin is mostly due to the makeup. We didn't have makeup to make our actress face pale enough, so we did it in grading. Now, the second thing that I did is here, and as you can see, this one has to do with her eyes. So if you look closely to her eyes, when I press disable, so I wanted her eyes to be a little bit brighter, so I did an effect and I did face refinement on her face. And when I did this, I managed to modify only a few parts of the face that I wanted. So that's why I managed to do only her eyes, as you can see. Now we're gonna go to the next one, which is basically my primary, and this one is just a conversion LUT. So this is my LUT that I used in order to create the look, and this is without the look node, and this is with the look node. And as you can see, it's a big difference. And now when it comes to the next nodes, here is something more interesting. So if you look at her hair, she doesn't have backlight on her hair here. So her hair is completely dark. There is still information if I look a little bit, but we had a backlight. So it didn't match the initial shot. So I had to make a mask here in order to remove the highlight being lit here. So this is how it looks with and without, and it had to match this look as well. So as you can see, pretty interesting. Now we're gonna go to the next one, which is the table. So in order to make similar things, I had this mask going on here, which did this. Now, if you go further, here I also did another mask, which helped me increase this part when it comes to shadows and contrast. So I make it a little bit similar to this. As you can see, here is a little bit darker and there's light only here. I tried that as well when the hand comes. So look like this and like this. And now the next one is the mask that I did in order to obtain the window thing. On the last node, what I did was basically to mask my hand. And that's pretty much about it. So if we look at the before with an image that started like this and we managed to bring it like this, that in the end looks a little bit similar to this, I have to say I'm happy with the final result, but I wish I could have done it better like they did, because honestly, this show looks extremely good when it comes to image, and I'm gonna study it more and I'm gonna try to learn more from this show when it comes to how to balance the highlights and shadows and everything. And at the end of the day, I hope you guys learned something from this video as well. And if you guys enjoyed it, please make sure to subscribe and see you on the next one. Cheers, guys.